Okay, we're going to start by looking at sheet S1.1 for the final project. There's a few things that we need to talk about. You'll notice just by looking at it right off the bat, it looks very similar to what we looked at before. This was actually done by the same company who did the first one. So a lot of it is similar, but there are some differences that we're going to look at. The first thing you need to note is down here at the bottom, you have a column schedule right here. And right now it has C1, C3, and C4 columns that it describes. Okay, um, that's important because we have those on the plan. But you also need to note that included in the PDF sheets I gave you is this particular sheet, which is the revisions or corrections, is the way it's labeled. And what it's doing is I've circled different columns on here. So all these that are circled, which are currently labeled C3s, need to be changed to where they are C2 columns right there. And then up here at the top, you'll see that I've added to the column schedule and added a C2 column, which is a 5 by 5 by 3/8 inch thick tube steel column. So it's going to look identical to 1 and 3. It's just a little different size. And so you need to make note of those and change those. Also on this correction sheet is right here, this dimension changes. It needs to be changed to this value right here, 30 feet 4 5/8 of an inch. I know that's very minute as far as being picky, but that's what it needs to be for everything to be able to work out like it should. So do pay attention to this correction sheet, the dimension, the change in the columns, and also the addition of this column up here, a C2 column. So that's the revision sheet. Excuse me. Now back to S1.1. The main things you need to know that are not on here that we need to address are the control joints. You can see we have these control joints running through the project just like on the other one. The spacing is not noted on here. Most of the time you're not. They're going to be in the specs, but I'm going to tell you what they are. What you need to do to get these control joints in the right place. And this is just a general rule for this plan. Is start right here in this bottom right hand corner that we're looking at right here and space them 12 feet on the center. So just from here 12 feet, from here 12 feet, and go from there 12 feet on the center, and that'll be your control joints. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of. And let's see here. One additional dimension is right here where this shear wall is. This dimension right here obviously is not shown, but right here we need to have a dimension, and that dimension needs to be 11 feet. Okay, so this dimension here between where the shear wall starts and the corner of the building right here should be 11 feet. Okay. I was going to try to type it in there, but it's giving me problems. So you're just going to have to remember that and make a note on a piece of paper. But this dimension right here is 11 feet. Sorry about the delay there. My software is giving me issues. But that will be 11 feet. The other thing that we need to address is that this particular, if you notice this detail right here, 6S3.1, and this S6 S3.1 have the same call out, same detail, but one of them is on the left side in this case of the little porch, and this one's on the right side. What needs to happen here is that this one needs to have a note under it. And obviously mine's a little big, but it needs to have a note under it that says OPP hand, opposite hand. And what that means is it's the same as the other one, it's just a mirror image. Okay, so if you see that on any drawing opposite hand, it just means that it's a mirror image of the other. So that's the explanation for what's going on there. But this note needs to be added, opposite hand, right here. And also the detail or section actually on S2.1 that's labeled as number 3, it happens right here. So what needs to happen here is we need to add at this point somewhere right in here, and you just have to make it work as best you can. But we're going to add, and I'm going to do my best to get it in here. We need to add right here a section marker or a section call out, and it's not going to let me do it the way I want to do it, but you get the idea. We're going to add a section call out right here, and it's going to be labeled 3 S2.1. Okay, so it'd be 3 S2.1, and that's what this additional section right here should be. Okay, and it's going to be facing, if it would let me draw my arrow, it would be great. But it's going to be facing that direction. So that's going to be S2.1, section number 3. And it's on the sheet for you to draw, but it wasn't labeled anywhere. So that's where it's going to occur, right there. Excuse me. And I think that is it as far as changes that need to be made. There are a few little things you're going to have to pay attention to. This has a lot more going on the plan. Just be aware of dimensions. You know, like for instance, this little corner here, this 10.5, you can see we got two 10.5 dimensions. This 10.5 is for the shear wall. It's going actually from the outside face of this column to right here where the brick ledge is. Okay, so that's 10 feet 5. This 10'5" is going from the center line of the column to the outside edge of the brick ledge. So you're just gonna have to, you know, pay close attention to these dimensions and where they're going to. There's some places to where you have multiple things going on, like for instance on this end, this 9'10" is the length of the shear wall. It's going to this edge of slab right here. That's where that 9'10" is dimensioning to. Well, also going right through this general area is the 6'10" dimension from center line of column to center line of column. And then on the bottom side, we've got an 8-foot dimension, which is going from actually the end of the edge of this brick ledge right here. Okay, so the 8-foot goes from the outside edge of this porch to where this brick ledge ends, right there. And then this 9'10" is coming off of this edge of slab right here, and this is just a drop from the finished floor of the building to the porch outside. Okay, and we can get there by looking at these dimensions that we have here on the bottom. Excuse me. And there's actually some more up here on the top that help us out a little bit. From the center line of the column, which these center lines line up, so this center line here on the bottom right here, this center line lines up with this center line on top. So from this center line over to where this brick ledge ends is 8 inches. So we can kind of get that from there. Let's see what else. This shear wall, just understand it's going from the end of it to the edge of the brick ledge right there. My point is there's a lot of these dimensions that are really close, and you just gotta have to pay attention to where they're going to. Some of them are very picky too, like this one's 1 foot 2 3/8 from the edge of the slab to the center line of that column, 7'1 1/4. So just be careful with them. Watch what you're doing, and also note that you need to do these what you know is the correct way. When this was printed, this particular piece has center lines that are dark. Obviously, our center lines that are used in our dimensioning do not need to be dark. They need to be the same as the dimension lines themselves. So, do things that you know are correct like that, even if they look wrong on here. This line going right through those numbers, obviously that's not good. So, just kind of pay attention to those, and just let me know if you have any questions. But that's basically S.1, 1.1 in a nutshell. But if you run into anything specific, please let me know and we'll address those.